What's your question?
My question is, I run a business that we need to take it from, we're at about 230K in revenue to 2.5 million in revenue this year. Story behind it, to give you context of the business, is I really want to capture my father's life and his story. He's someone like you, a serial entrepreneur. I've learned a ton of life lessons from him, where I really wanted my kids and grandkids to have the same learning accessibility that I've had. So I bugged him forever to write a book. Never did it. I watched a Netflix documentary one day, got hit by a train that I needed to do that for him. And I started getting things in order to do that. And as we were preparing, he actually passed away unexpectedly at 63.
Wow.
And it sent me down a journey where I realized that a bunch of people are dying and their life is becoming very meaningless in about 2 to 3 generations. And legacy isn't being left by incredible humans that deserve to have that. And so I've created one of the most effective and efficient ways that people can capture their life story. And it takes them about 5-10 hours of their time. Wow. And then we would create like a Netflix style documentary about their life.
Really?
Yeah.
So your company is making mini documentaries of older people's lives.
Yeah. As well as younger people that want to do like annual journaling updates. And we just continue to give them new episodes of their life journey.
Got it. So last year you went from 230,000 to $2.5 million. That's what you scaled. You went 10x in 1 year, or that's what you wanted?
Last year we actually did 80,000, and we have done 85,000 this year. And we have some things that we're implementing, but I need our company to be at 2.5.
Got it. So you're tracking for 230,000.
Yes.
Okay, let's figure out what the product that you have so far is, because I'm curious. What are you charging people for this product?
From 7,000 to 18,000 for that.
You're making a video of their life between 7 and 18 grand?
Yes.
So basically, they have to gather pictures and information, and then you guys put it together?
So we will actually get someone that will pay a deposit. Then we will do a hero's journey strategy call with them. We create a personalized questionnaire for them. Then we would show up to their location, bring our studio with like professional everything, cameras, the whole setup. Then from there, we talk for 3 to 5 hours. And then we get pictures and videos from their life story. And then all that gets sent to our editing team. They cut it up into episodes. And then we give them some tangible deliverables, as well as make it long lasting, where it could be something that they can have for hundreds of years.
Got it. So you're getting about 25 clients a year right now.
Yeah.
How are you getting your clients?
Referrals as well as organic traffic. We tried paid ads and the return wasn't crazy great, and trade shows.
Organic traffic. How are you doing that?
We just had the green light from some people to showcase mini reels of them sharing important parts from their documentary.
Interesting. Why can't someone just give me the real step-by-step guide to building real wealth? Check it out. I wrote it. This book, Have It All, teaches the 5 ROIs that will cause you to become financially free, not in 40 years, 30 years, or 20 years. You can do it in a decade or less, but you need the secrets in this book, and they're nowhere else to be had. Click the link below, get a copy, and let me show you the 5 investments that will revolutionize your financial future. Well, you found a really interesting niche here, and you've got maybe 20 to 30 clients a year. So really you're just asking, how do we scale and go bigger? Is that right?
Yeah, I have a couple ideas. I feel like our systems and processes need to be improved a lot. And we have a team of 6, 3 of them are overseas. And I just go to bed feeling like so many people are dying and I'm not getting it out fast enough for them.
Yeah.
That just sits heavy. And I'm trying to figure out the best way to get it to where it needs to be.
Yeah. So do you feel good about your fulfillment process?
Yes. I think we actually are doing surreal work. For example, my main videographer guy, he has shot for the Olympics. And then my overseas editors have worked for Disney or have been like a video editing professor at a college. So our product itself gets we get raving fans our process of customer success and communication, I think is probably at a 20 to 30% out of 100.
What's your closing ratio?
I'm not super clear on those numbers, but I would say it's around 10%, 5 to 10%.
Okay, cool. So there's a couple of things I'm seeing here that I think are worthy of looking at. You're trying on the one hand to figure out how to get more leads, but you also want to figure out how to get better conversions, right?
Yep.
So both of these things need to improve. You want to get your product to a level where you can have a 20 to 30% close rate. And if you're thinking you're at 5 or 10%, that means that you get 20 leads and you're closing 1. You got to figure out how to get 20 leads and close 5 or 6. And if that's not happening, then you might want to actually change the range on your product from 7 to 18,000. And it sounds like you might need a little bit of a better loss leader. And what I mean by that is you're going out there and making a big deal out of this production to film for 3 or 5 hours and then basically giving them episodes of their life. But let me ask you, can I pay less than $7,000 and just get a single 20-minute episode?
Yeah. So some of our new implementations is like an audio podcast where it would be $750, but we're also recording it and we can be like, hey, we're going to give you this polished 30 minutes, just pure podcast, no real editing, but we have it in video. So that would be $1,500. We have a in-studio plug and play where the editing currently takes our team about 3 weeks to do one.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of intensive editing.
Yep.
Where this studio plug and play that's $4,500 to $6,000 will only take our guys about 2 days. And so we will still have margin on it.
So when I look at this, I'm like, okay, if you have raving fans, you might need a $25,000 to $50,000 product. But on the other end, you need to have an entry-level fodder that can get people in for $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, where they can see the product, enjoy the product, and then they want to go into, basically a higher end game, a higher package, and do a high ticket sale out of it. Not tracking your closing ratio is super concerning because there's 2 things that you want to know. Number 1, do you have the right person selling the product? And sometimes, is it you that's doing the selling?
Majority of it. Yeah, I would say right now I just barely brought on a new sales guy that did really well in door-to-door and roofing.
Yeah.
And so as he's transitioning in, I'm still closing with him there.
Yeah. So there's a world of a difference between the creator owner of a company that's passionate about the product versus a salesperson that is passionate about basically the product getting in use. So what I'm trying to figure out is how do I double, triple, or quadruple my sales? And the first thing is maybe you're not the guy, right? It's one thing to be the owner of the company and you're kind of the best thing we have for doing selling, but you might find the right person who's going to outsell you 3 to 1, and that's important. Because really when we look at what do you have to solve for, it's like I need to fix my closing ratio, which means I either need to fix my product or I need to fix who's selling the product. Then on the other hand, we need to open up, how do I get more leads? And there's a lot of things that you can do to get a lot more leads. But if your product is between $7,000 and $18,000, you're going to flush a lot of leads away where people would say yes to $1,000 or $2,000. And it's like, wow, this is weird. We have a 30% conversion on a $1,000 offering. And so we're getting a lot more money in the door. And then we upsell the people that have a good experience into having a more full experience. We're healing our value ladder because we're getting a lot more people in the door. We're closing more people and we've got a better closer. Those I think are the core things that you need to look at if you want to go from tracking $250,000 to even just getting to $1 million a year.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Do you have any processes when it comes to tracking those things that's been helpful?
Yes.
Tiny bit more automated?
Right now, you don't need automation. Automation is the enemy because it produces complexity. When you have a small business, you want to go manual, you want to go Excel, you don't want to buy systems, you don't want monthly overhead. Here's what I would be tracking every week. Number 1, I would want to track your leads. Every day, you want to know how many leads are being produced, and that's a daily. So there's a principle in business that if you don't like the number of leads you're getting, and let's say you track it monthly, then you should track it weekly. If you don't like the number of leads that you're getting weekly, you need to track them daily. Since your biggest problem is leads and conversion, then what I need you to do is I need you to have a report that everyone core on the team involved in the marketing and sales process can see shows the number of leads. Because what you measure, you grow, and what you don't measure, you cannot grow. So first and foremost,
how many leads am I getting every day? Here's what you're gonna find. Well, we didn't have a trade show and we did a little organic, but we got none today. And we got 1 on Tuesday and we got none on Wednesday. But then we started hustling and by Saturday we got like 6. So we got 7 leads for the week. Well, if you measure it every day, your mind is gonna start saying, I have to do something every day to get a lead every day or else I'm not doing it right. So I would right now measure your leads on a daily basis. The second thing I'd want to know is how many of those leads turn into a sales conversation. So let's just say this last week I got 7 leads and only 3 people had a sales conversation. Well, of the 3, how many bought? 1 bought. Okay, that's a 33% close ratio. So now I've given you 3 numbers. How many leads am I getting? I track it every day, but I'll basically want to calculate my report weekly on my KPIs, which is total leads for the week, total sales conversations for the week, total closings for the week. If you measure those 3 numbers, you're going to start producing optics on the things that matter. So you'll start saying, okay, what are we solving for? Guys, our closing percentage was 10%, but then we got the new sales guy and it tripled and it went to 30%. So guess what? We got sales figured out better. It's a 300% improvement. Well, our sales guy is bored because we don't have enough leads. Okay, now that we've got conversions fixed, now we need to solve for number of leads. Hey, we put energy into that. We opened some new outlets. We've tripled leads. What's our problem now? Well, if I generate 10 leads, only 2 of them pick up for sales conversations. So now we have a problem with reaching the lead. Oh, well, how did I solve for that? Within 3 minutes of the lead actually being generated, an automatic message, a video from the creator went out saying, thank you so much for this process. We're going to be reaching out to you. We're going to text you. We're going to call you, and we're going to help set you up and help you have this life-changing experience. Wow, we tripled the number of sales appointments because we learned that our leads get cold real fast. It's novel. They're excited for a minute, but they're not excited 4 minutes later. So if you track those 3 things, then every week you hold a meeting with managers of how do we improve these 3 things. And it's always going to be the same thing. How do we get more leads? How do we get more leads to turn into sales appointments? How do we get more sales appointments to convert into sales? That's where I think you got to put your focus and energy. And then iterating different products at smaller and higher price points is going to allow you to get more conversions because your sales guy is going to say, I'm tired of closing people at $7,000. Give me a $2,000 something so that I can increase conversion on that as well. There's a good chance you're missing out on 30 to 40% of your total sales for the year by having products that are not in the $1,000, $2,000, or $3,000 price range. Because you'll probably find that 3 times as many people will pay $1,000 than the people that will pay $7,000, which means that everyone that's not doing $7K can't spend $3,000 on 3 $1,000 products. That's what I mean by healing then the value ladder. So those are the 4 things that I would be working on. I'd track those 3 metrics, and then I would iterate products that give more opportunities for sales to take place.
I love that. So prioritizing time.
Yes.
My question is, I feel like our current machine, like 7 to 18,000, is probably around, like on the sales aspect, it's pretty low still. We had the validation, people wanted all that. With losing 30 to 40% of our revenue opportunities, how do I balance the time between those 2?
Yeah. I think you are missing products on the low end, but I think what we're selling at the mid-range needs to go into a higher end. And so really the goal needs to be, Jackson, how do I get more people into the entry-level portion of my funnel? Because what you're doing is you're going pretty high ticket fast out the gate. And some people actually don't even know if they can trust you. And here's how they develop trust. We did the podcast product for $750, and they had such a good experience that we said, now look at this final product of this other person's life. We could now create that for you. And now you're doing an upsell. And with most clients, you always have a chance for at least one really good upsell. So focusing on something at the entry level to put more to have an upsell later is likely going to be easier for you than just trying to get the big sale out the gate front.
So how hard should we market the difference between the initial like top of funnel to the, I guess, our premium as well? Kris, we have an anchored price at 40,000.
Yep.
Premier experience where we rent a movie theater, limos, and give them like Grammys experience for their live video and live celebration. So we have that play as well going.
What I would do is I would probably be marketing my coolest product. And then when the people turn into leads and you're having those calls with prospects, what you want to do is find out what their level of financial commitment is in what they want, and only pitch them the product range that falls within that. So if I had one lead that said, geez, I got maybe $1,000 budget for something cool, like, cool, let me show you what we can do for you. The next person says, well, it's for their 50th anniversary. Really, we don't have a budget. We want it to be grand. Okay, and then I might share my $18,000 and my $40,000 option. And basically what I'm saying is you should only pitch what's in their price range. If you're pitching everything, you shouldn't do that. This is not a restaurant. You do not give them a menu. You don't show them all the options. You give them 2 options. You give them what you want and you give them a down tier, but you only show them based on what you financially qualified them for.
That brings up a good question. And also this has been pretty valuable. So thank you. With getting to their budget, majority of the people in the leads are like, hey, this is something way cool. When I brought up any type of budgeting ideas and thoughts, they have no idea what cost is or anything. It's like a newer experience for a majority of the people.
Yeah.
What are some good budgeting questions that you like to use?
If I owned your company and I was the salesperson and I was pitching your product, I would probably do my sales call a little bit like this. Like, so is this Jackson? Jackson, hi, my name is Kris. I'm with the memory company. And first of all, why did you decide to fill out the form today?
I thought that video was awesome. It made me emotional and it just made me think of my dad.
Yeah. We are in the business of bringing these memories to life so that you have a treasure for your family forever. Are we talking about your dad today that you want to do this for?
Yeah, I really just wanted to learn more, but yeah, if we were going to do something for someone, I think it would have to be my dad.
It's for your dad. How old is your dad?
He is now 72.
Okay, so he's definitely getting up there. Is he still doing well? Does he have his memories?
Yeah, but it is sad. I feel like every time I see him, he's just getting older.
Yeah. Well, I think what you want to do for your dad is really, really special. So we have a whole range of how we basically capture this experience for your entire family and of course for your father, for you, so that you have, this heirloom that you get to pass down for the family. Help me understand a little bit, what is your budget that you've set aside for producing such an experience?
I just saw the video.
Sure.
And I haven't like a number to it.
Yeah, but let's just guess and play today that if you wanted to set something aside to produce a really amazing experience, help me understand what's the range that we're looking at here. Let's just assume we can wow you and it's going to be as incredible as the video that you saw online. What do you have set aside?
Yeah. I can tell you guys do really good video work. And so probably, a couple $1,000.
Couple thousand?
I imagine it's around $1,000 or so.
Okay. So you've got basically $1,000 set aside for creating some type of special memory. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So Jackson, what I was just demonstrating there is that you're going to get on the phone, you're going to build some rapport, but ultimately that question right there on trying to get a bracket of what they financially want to put into the project helps you know, what are you going to be pitching? If you're pitching a range of $7,000 to $18,000 on someone that has $1,000 set aside, that's how you get a 10% close ratio. Here's how you get a 50% close ratio or an 80% close ratio. Find out what they are committing to the project and then pitch them something in that range. You'll start selling a lot more and your leads will become way more valuable. Right now, you're flushing 90 to 95% of your leads away. That's your problem.
Okay. Well, I'll dive into that. I feel like I've never heard anyone saying anywhere in the ballpark of 7 to 10,000.
Nope.
For that.
Yep.
And then on the back end, after they've gone through the experience, our testimonials are phenomenal where they're like, oh, it was worth every penny. You can't put a price to this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So how do I balance that part out?
I think actually, Jackson, what we've covered today gives you the metrics, what you need to be measuring, how you need to iterate your products a little bit differently, and then also how you need to bracket them before you know what to pitch them. I would start with that first, and let's see where that carries you, because even just with what I've given you today, it's going to allow you how to measure, okay, guys, it looks like we get 10 leads a week. We've been getting that on average every week for the last 4 months. Today's meeting, we're going to figure out how do we double our leads? Is it possible to get 20 leads a week? Why? Well, because for the last month, we figured out how to triple our conversion, or we doubled the number of people that go from leads to appointments. So start by measuring those 3 things and then iterate products in price ranges that work. If you tell me that 80% of your leads are always going to have less than $7,000, then that means you need to listen to the market and provide your version of your product in a price range that actually works for them. Then you can work on how to find more qualified leads that have the higher end budget as well. Those are the things that you want to focus on to text your business, bro.
I appreciate that. Last thought, also, I've been recording this, so thank you. And if you guys have a recording, that'd be great. I have a podcast that's been going for a while. I think you know one of my friends, Blake Erickson. He just came on to it, but we've had people like Andrew Smith, Casey Ball, a lot of those people.
Okay.
It's called the Life Legacy Podcast, where we bring on people who have inspiring life stories that can help our audience improve their life. I don't know if that is something you'd be opposed to doing, but it'd be an honor to have you on. We're based in Provo, and if it makes sense for you, would love to connect and figure out how to do it.
Awesome. I'll have my team that set this up with you reach out and get you some details on that as well.
Okay. Well, thanks, Kris.
You're welcome, Jackson.
I hate just taking from a conversation. I know you have like a video production team and everything, but if you need cheap editing or anything where I could add value, I sincerely would love to.
I appreciate it. I can tell you got a big heart. I can tell by what the product is you're putting out to the world. I actually think you put something very cool together. So congratulations. And listen, my hope for you is that you grow it, you become really successful, and you rock it and change a lot of lives with it.
Well, thanks, Kris.
All right, Jackson. You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
You too.